Welcome to Adelante Chicago. I'm Lourdes Duarte. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bienvenidos. We begin by showcasing some of the best of our city on stage. You have probably heard of the popular speaker series known as TED Talks, right? Which has introduced the world to some of the best thought leaders. Well, here in Chicago, the organization Latinos Progresando has created Mex-Talks. It's meant to highlight the voices of Mexican and Mexican-American entrepreneurs, students, leaders. This year, the big event is scheduled for May 7th, and joining us now to tell us a little bit more about it are Luis Gutierrez with Latinos Progresando and Carlos Montoya. He is actually going to be one of the Mex-Talks speakers. He's also the CEO and chairman of Ion Digital Corp. Thank you, both of you, for coming in. This is exciting.
Very exciting, yes. Thank you for having us.
Many of us have sort of tuned in to these videos that we see all the time of TED Talks, so it's nice that we're creating something here at home in Chicago. How did it come about? And I'll start with you, Luis.
So Mex-Talks came about, this will be our 13th year, and one of the things that we were thinking about was how do we own our own narrative? So for years, you know, we've heard people talk about us, but not necessarily us from our own perspective. And so we wanted to create a space where leaders like Carlos, for example, can talk to us about what they're thinking about, what they're working towards, how to bring people together. We also thought it was really important to capture history. You know, we've had so many great leaders in the Mexican community throughout the years. The Mexican community has been in the city of Chicago since the 1850 census. And so for over all of this time, you've had so many amazing people that have graced our city. We thought it was important to also create a platform where we can capture that history and make sure that it's there for other generations to see. And then lastly, I'll say that, you know, we want to talk about what is our future. Yeah. What do we want to see in the city of Chicago? And so we put all that into a pot, mixed it up, and we came up with Mex-Talks.
And you've been doing this now for 13 years.
13 years.
So I love the fact that it gives individuals a platform to showcase their stories, but it also helps as like a networking opportunity for those who attend the event and are watching somebody like Carlos speak about, you know, his work and what it means here in Chicago. Carlos, how do you prepare for something like this? Because it is a lot of pressure, right, to get up on stage and talk about the work that you're doing.
Yeah, and being your guest here today on Channel 9 enhances all of that sort of what you're absorbing about it and how you're putting it together. But I'm deeply honored and grateful to Luis and his organization to be able to tell my story and be able to potentially translate that to impact, particularly for younger people or people who are going up the sort of career track or the life cycle of greater and greater impact on their, as a result of their decisions.
So you'll go through your life story kind of on stage.
Sort of focusing on, within the context of how I feel about Fuerza Mexicana, right? Why I made the decisions that I made in my life, where I had choices, right? Beginning very, very early on, arriving in Chicago, accidentally, when my car broke down.
Wow.
I was going to the East Coast to the big school, right? Because I'm from California. And ultimately, ending up sleeping in a junkyard in Bridgeport because my car was broken down, to parlaying that into admission at Loyola as my second choice, so to speak, and then ultimately getting jobs with small banks and ultimately becoming a CEO of a bank.
And here you are. Okay. I love the way he's starting that story. I slept in a junkyard. I mean, if that doesn't hook somebody into the story, right?
It's amazing. His story is absolutely amazing, which is actually one of my other favorite parts about Mex-Talks is I get the behind the scenes, so I get to meet with the speakers,
individuals,
hear their stories, what they're thinking about. It's such a great opportunity for us, and I tell Carlos that I didn't realize how funny he was, and so you'll see some of that when you come and watch him speak. But he's hilarious.
Okay, good. It's coming up May 7th, and Carlos, one of many people who will be speaking at Mex-Talks. Give me some of the other ones.
So we have Judge Ruben Castillo, who's a retired judge, amazing human being, has done so much in his career. So he'll be on the stage. We have
Anel Ruiz también, I know
United, United Airlines is going to be on stage. Mayra Macias is going to be on stage. And then my favorite, next to Carlos,
other than Carlos, sí, por supuesto.
My favorite is Michael Gomez. So he is the youngest speaker to ever be on stage with us. He's 17 years old. He was a 2025 Boys and Girls Club of the Year award winner. And so he's going to come up on stage and tell his story. 17 years old, all the wonderful things that he's doing, all of the things that he's looking forward to.
Okay.
So it's going to be absolutely amazing.
I will say this, look, speaking on stage is difficult, right?
Yes.
You first have to get over the nerves and then have a style and presenting a story that people will be able to follow. Do you work with them on all these little things?
So we do have a speaker coach that meets with every individual speaker. They sit down, they have one-on-one sessions. We then have a group session before the actual event happens. And so in that group session, all of the speakers come together, they share what they are going to be talking about. They get feedback from everyone. Everybody gives each other advice. Everybody leaves extremely inspired by what is presented. And then everybody gets ready for the big show. So it's coming up.
What a great way to work together. I know that this year, I imagine it had to be incredibly difficult to pick not only the topics, but the individuals. I mean, Latinos, Mexicanos here in Chicago have faced a tough year when you talk about immigration, elections, just the political climate that we're living in. Did you want to highlight some of that as part of the talks?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. So, you know, every year a group of us sits down and starts to think about what is happening in our city this year, what is happening in our country, in our world, what are the things that we want to hear about, what are the things that we want to talk about. And based on those conversations, we look for speakers that are local speakers, speakers that are across the country. We've had people fly in from Mexico. But this year specifically, we really wanted to make it about Chicago. You know, Chicago was hit really hard by ICE raids.
Yeah.
If you followed where ICE was, most of the neighborhoods that they went to were majority Mexican
Latinos,
neighborhoods.
yeah.
And then, you know, the city, I think, did such a fantastic job of standing up. I think there was some thinking maybe nationally that when they came to Chicago, everybody was just going to bow their head and go away. But it was so inspiring to see everybody just stand up and fight back. And so based on all of that, we really started to think about who are speakers that can really represent what Chicago is about. And we chose the lineup that you're going to see on May 7th.
All right, Carlos, you are one of them. Is there somebody else that you think would be a favorite for folks if they're going out there? Is there one that, have you had a chance to listen to all of them?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have. I mean, Judge Castillo
a good one,
has a phenomenal story. I've known him. I was for many years on the board of MALDEF, the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund. He was one of our leaders in that. And there's so many great voices that really will be impactful. And it's an honor to be among them.
Okay, sounds good. We're so excited for both of you for Latinos Progresando. We're going to get the information up on the screen. It's May 7th. It is latinospro.org/MEX-Talks if you want to find out how to attend, how to RSVP, all that sort of stuff. And of course, you can get more information on Latinos Progresando, a key organization here in the Chicago area.